morning, good afternoon and good evening to you all. Welcome to the 1st of January of a brand new year, 2021. Happy New Year's Day to you all. I hope you're having a brilliant day so far. Welcome to the Full 100, the first of the new year. And today's video or today's edition is a special one. It is what I call my wish list for 2021 and beyond. This is born out of the 2020 that we've just had. And I might not even have covered everything, but this is my little wish list for the future. So without further ado, let's get down to today's show. Guys, I've broken it up into 3 parts. One's a general wish list. One's a wish list for my white community, my neighbors, my friends, just in the white community. And the last is my wish list for the black community. So I'm going to start with the wish list in general, my overall wish list for the world. And my first, and has to be the biggest of all, I wish the world will come together to cry and fight and shout and scream for equality and an even playing field for everybody. I can't wrap my head around anybody who doesn't want that. If you don't want that, you belong in 2020 with coronavirus and all the stuff that we're leaving behind in 2020. I wish we'd all be more empathetic to injustices. I wish we'd stop seeing babies who wash up at the beach. 18-month-old babies, that we've all had babies. All of us have had babies. We know how small and innocent and vulnerable an 18-month-old is. I wish we'd stop seeing babies wash up on the shore of a beach and just flip the page of the newspaper over or turn the news channel over and think it's nothing to do with you. We're one world. I wish we'd all feel the pain of the next person or groups of people. When I see refugees coming across, my mind goes back to movies and pictures and documentaries I've watched of UK citizens heading out to Canada and running off to Australia and getting on getting babies separated from their parents and going up to the countryside when Hitler was bombing the UK. But when I see Belgium, I see Germany, I see France, I see UK, they were all refugees once. It wasn't that long ago. And you know how the world works? All it takes is Russia to start a war. And we're right back there again. And you, my friends, become the refugees who want to make your way to the safe continent of Africa. Let's start feeling empathy for one another and understand that this world is all cycles. One day is your turn to suffer, the next day is mine. I wish for the world that we had real leaders, not leaders on personal agendas. And when I say this, as much as I am talking in general, our black community, we need to start demanding better from our world leaders, from our so-called leaders who want us to be loyal to them, who want us to respect what they say and appreciate what they say. But there comes a time they have to earn that respect. Listen to one such leader only a few weeks ago, talking about the virus, the spread that the world is experiencing right now that's gone way over anything we had all of last year. Listen to what this so-called leader was saying to many people who have believed him. Take a look.
He's big on projection, falsely accusing others of his own bad deeds. That and telegraphing his next move. So it's not surprising that shortly before going radio silent on COVID, he was saying this.
COVID, COVID, COVID. COVID. By the way, on November 4th, you won't hear about it anymore. You turn on the news, COVID, 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 COVID. Would like to talk about COVID. It's COVID, 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 no matter what happens. COVID, COVID. That's all I hear. Turn on television, right? COVID, COVID. I guarantee you this. On November 4th, you won't be hearing as much about this. Here's what happens. November 4th, you won't hear too much about it. You won't hear too much about it.
You won't hear about it anymore, he said, and he was right. We haven't heard squat from him.
Welcome back. Lastly, for the world, I wish we didn't demand conspiracies and have an appetite for conspiracy theories. Fact check stuff. They're so easily fact checked. And sometimes when you can't fact check stuff, just think a little bit. Just think for two minutes. That's what I'm asking you to do. Just think for 2 minutes. Because if you think for 2 minutes, you'll either find a way to fact check it or you find out that it makes no sense whatsoever. We have a demand, like I said on my last video on Wednesday, we have a demand for conspiracy theories. And as long as there's a demand for an alternative story to an incident, like the George Floyd incident, I don't know how any right-thinking person in the mind would think that could have been staged. But yet the right wing are audacious enough to suggest it and put it out there. But they're putting it out there for those like them. What disappoints me is that the normal thinking person, and many in my black community, ran with it. This is why they keep doing it. Because there is a market for it. Think about it. I wish the world will stop demanding and seeking conspiracies and do just a little bit more work. I want to go to this next section now, which is my wish list for the white community. I wish you'd call out the racists amongst you more. In 2021, you must do. Even if they're your parents and family members, it's time to call it out. It's a case of, are we tired of this world that we're living in and long for a better world, you know? I know there's no such thing as utopia, and there is no such thing as peace and love every day. I know that. However, you know what? We can have peace and love 3 days of the week, maybe not 7. We can have peace and love 4.5 days of a week, maybe not 7. We can't have every day, fair enough. The more you stay quiet, the more they think you're with them. So if you think differently, my white friends, make it known that you think differently. The more of you do so, the less and less you're going to hear that crap around you. I promise you. I wish you would deny less. Denial of racist stories. Denial of racist experience that people say to you. How dare anybody challenge a cancer patient about feeling pain in their big toe by saying to them, oh, well, cancer people do not feel pain in their big toe. How do you know that? You've never had cancer. Who are you to challenge someone who's going through cancer if you haven't been through it yourself? We need to stop denying stories of racism, my white friends and families. We need to start listening and understanding that if the person tells you they've just experienced bias or just experienced racism or just experienced vindictiveness, who are you to debate that? Listen more and stop discounting. I wish a vast majority of you would call out injustices and demand justice and equality from our governments. Until the majority, 60-70% of my white communities, get fed up of injustices, it'll be easier and remain easy for the powers that be to carry on this same path. You need to start making your voices heard in 2021 and beyond. Now I'm going to go to the last part, my black communities. I wish we would have more diversity in thoughts, in our beliefs. I wish we would begin getting more informed and therefore harder to confuse and divide. We're the least informed, my black community, because they've told you not to respect the sources of good information. We've taught each other not to vote not to trust the government. So don't vote. Who you voting for it make no difference. And yet politics controls who gets deported, who gets to stay in the country, what the minimum wage is, which many of us in our community are in that bracket, right? Determines how many hours you're going to work, determines where you can go with your passport, determines the cost of your food, determines every part of your life. Is it not time you have a say in that whole process? So yes, I wish we'll begin to get more informed so that we're harder to confuse and divide. There is a notion in our community that in relation to the vaccine that we are going to be the guinea pigs. I've said it about 4 times on 4 different videos so far that the vaccine isn't going to be is not going to be no different to any other innovation or opportunity that's brought forward. We're always at the bottom of the list. They don't come to us with this good stuff. We have to fight for that good stuff. But people tend to think the vaccine is going to be different. That's because you're not informed. Now I'm going to show you a video right now, yeah, of a politician who thought that this was a hoax, who backed Trump all the way in America, saying it's a hoax. The Democrats is going to disappear after the election, which it hasn't. Obviously, it's gone up, escalated. Americans are dying at the rate of 9/11 deaths every day. 3.3 thousand people died at 9/11, and it was a huge deal. It was the biggest loss in terrorism ever outside of a war. It was the biggest loss. Yeah. And yet they died at a rate of that every single day. There are politicians over there who in the front of the camera and to the cults, to keep in with the cults, with the Trump cult, so they can get elected as Republicans and so that Trump doesn't turn on them and say, look, he's a sellout, and then they lose their Senate seat. In front of the cameras, these guys will say it's a hoax and and say all sorts of stuff. But behind the scenes, they're using their privilege to get vaccinated first, my people. Take a look at this.
Consider that rally and every other anti-science thing that Rubio has done. And our own Ana Navarro says she thinks that means he shouldn't go to the front of the vaccine line. The tweet is this: young, healthy senator who spoke at rallies packed with thousands without masks, who supports Trump, who's downplayed COVID and mocked those who wear masks, is first to go get a vaccine while most medical workers, elderly and infirm Americans wait. Congratulations on your privilege.
Welcome back. Now, I didn't show you that clip so you can rush off and go get vaccinated. No. This channel has always been about fighting to get you informed, fighting to get you to check out the information you get on your phone. Do a little bit of research. If we were around when electricity was first invented, right? Black neighborhoods would have got it last. The vaccine is no different. Any black preacher or any black leader or any black prophet that's telling you different to that are lying to you. They either lying to you innocently because they're stuck in their minds on that mode, or they're lying to you intentionally. It's either one or the two. But either way, they're lying to you. It doesn't mean to go and get the vaccine, but stop believing that if you sit back in your house and hide, someone's going to come and knock on your door and find you and say, Mr. Brown, you need to go get your vaccines. No. Believe you me, the rich will queue up and keep jumping ahead of you every single day until they all are satisfied. When all the rich and all the people with good access, all the people with good healthcare, all the people with good connections, when they've all been vaccinated, that's when they're going to start thinking, oh yeah, okay, let's go see if they want some. The vaccine is no different. So like I said, I wish we'd begin to get more informed. I wish we'll get more connected with political affairs, as all our lives are controlled by political decisions. Like I just said, I wish we would get more connected. If black people did not vote in America, that bastard Trump would still be there today. He's still trying to overturn the black vote. He's not trying to flip no white votes. Even if they voted against him, he knows the blacks carried him off, voted him out, sacked him. I wish we'd support each other more, support initiatives, petitions, and injustices more. And, you know, we see tons of Africans floating in the sea. And over here in the UK and in Europe and in America, we feel like it's not us. It is us. It is us. Let that be white people dying. You get Swedish people with no nationals in that death number. Swedish people, if they had the ship available around there, they will send ship for it. They will send their ship for those people. Canadians, if no Canadians, they will send boats. So this is not just to the black leadership and to the black community, but it's also to our black state leaders. We need to start feeling that empathy for each other. When we see someone who looks like us dead on a beach because they're trying to get a better life, something that the Brits, the Irish, the French, the Italians, something they all did when they all moved to America and any other country where they're residing now, settled generations after. They all did the same. Stop making them make you think that these people are leeches and these people are scum and these people are lower than you and they're lower than humans, and let them be, let them die, they should stay in the country. Stop going with that narrative, because that's an establishment narrative. You see that same establishment, if they wanted those people after a war in this country to help them build this country up, those same establishment would send boats for these people, give them biscuits and cake on a nice boat, give them coats, make the journey all nice and warm until they get here, do the work, and as soon as the work's done, they become scum again. Let's not ever forget this. They are our people, and we need to unite as one. I wish we'd attack each other less, but protect each other more. I wish when we see a black person being harassed on the street, that many of us just come out of our cars, pull over. This is one of us. What are you doing? And I wish that when we see each other and we're about to kick off with one another, I wish there's a third and a fourth and a fifth and a sixth black people that turn up and say, put it down, stop. Stop. Put it away. What's the issue? I wish we'd all get active and involved on that level, little by little, to eventually become the norm. I really wish for that. I wish we'd stop destroying our heroes. Now this is huge. I wish we'd stop destroying our heroes to our children. So much so they have no living leaders to look up to. All we tell them about is the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings. We have had great leaders since. John Lewis, who was riding right beside Martin Luther King. He just died in December or November. I featured his death on my show. He just died at 86 or so, just a couple of months ago. How many of you knew him? I did. I followed him for over 25 years. He's a hero. But when Barack Obama got elected, he gave thanks to people like him. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here, he said to him. And he made a huge speech at his funeral as well. Our heroes are not just the Stormzys and the Skeptors or the Idris Elbas or the Anthony Joshuas. In my household, Barack Obama's a hero. And I know in many of your households in the black community, Barack Obama's a did nothing for black people. I know people like Diane Abbott have let us down. I know people like David Lammy have let us down. However, there's a way you can talk about it to your children that actually inspires them to become leaders like these people, but behave different when they get there. But we don't do that. We beat them down so badly that in many black households, the only thing kids aspire to be is either sports people or musicians. Because you've destroyed every hero that they can aspire to be. You don't ever have black judges, you don't ever have black senators or black MPs, or, you know, even if we don't particularly respect how they've performed, why don't you train the next generation to go into the same offices but be better than these current ones? We need to do that more. I want to finish off now by wishing that our black leaders would do better. Imagine a world, guys, where Louis Farrakhan spearheaded, right, the polio drive to get rid of polio in Africa. Imagine a world where Louis Farrakhan was a statesman, jumped on a plane, went to afflicted countries in Africa and spearheaded that instead of someone like Bill Gates doing it, and then we all demonize him. Imagine a world where Louis Farrakhan flew to China to speak to the leaders of China when our black Africans were getting beat up in China. I wish for a world like that. Imagine a world where he speaks up and helps fellow Americans on the verge of losing their homes. I'm tired of leaders who just come out and criticize and criticize and criticize and fake information, scaremongering, and don't do nothing positive for our people. It would be great to have a leader who, whenever we see him speak, is telling us about the progress he's making on securing a vaccine just for black people. I long for a world like that. But unfortunately, I'm sad to say this, guys. All of our leaders, including the David Lammys, Diane Abbotts, the black preachers, evangelicals we've seen all of last year on little video clips here and there, including the black scientist, Nigerian woman who was talking about hydroxychloroquine is good for curing patients, when it turns out this woman in church is talking about the evil spirits again, and her church members pregnant. So we have leaders that will talk for money, that will say whatever their side of the war wants them to say, regardless of their qualifications, regardless of the years they put into studying. The conclusion, my friends, is this, yeah? That people like Louis Farrakhan, unfortunately, I have to tell you, he loves America. No matter what he tells you, he loves that country because that country gives him all the comfort and wealth that he wants. Same as Diane Abbott. She loves her job. Her job gives her all the comfort and all of the stuff. She loves the UK for that. David Lammy, his job, he's in there now. Now he's a minister. First time he's gone into the sort of ruling class part of the party rather than a backbencher. He's loving it. Is he going to do anything to change his position? No. What they don't understand is fighting for your people is not a crime. And the more of you do it, the less is seen as taboo. As, oh, we don't want him in the party, he's an agitator, or whatever the case might be. Many black senators and Congress people in America are different. They're true to their people. So I don't want to tarnish all of them with the same brush. But so far here, they love this country and what it's giving them. Way too much, just like Louis Farrakhan. So we deserve and demand new leadership for 2021. That's the end of my wish list for 2021. If you agree with me, subscribe to my channel and get our message out there. But more importantly, as important as subscribing, I want you to share this video amongst your communities. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful 2021. Virus-free 2021. Problem-free 2021. And let's just hope for a coming back to normal of the human race. Thank you, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye now.